All right, enough with the speed of the hawk. Speed of the hawk? The fuck is that?
Bands are running out of song titles and band names.
Yeah, what is that? The
It is
speed
metal.
of the hawk. Yeah!
Bird metal.
Bird metal. Well, Primal
Bird
Fear
metal,
is good,
nice.
and they use a bird, so we're going to sing about a bird. Holy smokes. Anyway,
So-
that was Split Heaven.
I told you, bands are running out of names.
Split Heaven with Speed of the Hawk from their album. Anyone who want to guess the name?
Bird poop on a bench.
Almost.
Pterodactyl Rock.
Death Rider.
So, oh well.
Everything about that was bad. Don't go into anything yet, John. Because I want to do something before we get into something else
Okay.
that I failed miserably at the last time we all did this.
Uh-oh.
And
Okay.
that was actually talking about Joe's photography.
Let's hear about that shit.
Oh, yeah.
The last time we were supposed to at least talk a little bit about photography. And I love some of the stories that you've told me off the air. You know, and the thing is, for people that don't know, Joe is, aside from being a lunatic in here, Joe is probably the premier photographer in Cleveland right
Yeah.
now. Wouldn't you?
That's what you and Amy Weiser, right?
And even Amy, when
And
is
she's from Cincinnati, isn't she?
I think she. Microphone, Jim.
Yeah, Anastasia. She doesn't really shoot
Okay.
a hole anymore.
Yeah.
No, I
Yeah.
would say Joe.
No, yeah, Joe is Cleveland's photographer.
I mean, he's every show. There. What are you shooting now, Joe? 2-3 shows a week? Easy.
I shoot about 100 to 120 a year, so it's about
3 a week?
days.
Yeah.
I do have beef with you about that, Joe. I have to admit. You have all these amazing photographs, but you put this stupid thing on there, like property of Joe Kleon or something. You got to take that off there so I can like steal it and like kind of frame this
You
stuff.
start your own Etsy store selling my shit like everybody else.
Yeah. Anyways, moving on.
Well, no, but actually, you're playing into what I wanted to get into. You know, Joe does go and has at this point taken millions and millions of photos. I mean, actual legitimate number is
Over 1,000 shows.
millions of photos, over 1,000 shows, and the photos themselves are, you know, world renowned. They're picked up by major organizations and bands and whatnot. But you've been telling me for the last little while that you actually now, almost as part of your full-time job, are now a full-time litigator.
It's a third full-time job it's become.
Yeah, because so many people are stealing your work.
And it's not just, I don't even go after fan sites or blogs or anything like that. It's actual corporations that are using a website to make money. That's the only criteria I have to go after somebody.
Right.
If they're using their website to make money, whether it's book themselves, sell some kind of shit, whatever.
Sure.
If the website generates cash and they're using my stuff, then I go after
Right.
them.
Now, before I say it, can I mention the big one that you just recently
No.
did?
You can't mention any specifics about it.
I can't. Okay. Well, I'll put it this way.
Not even anything close.
I'll put
Don't,
it.
please don't.
I won't do it. Here's how I'll do it gently. You took a photo that has been stolen recently. 1,000 times?
It's been, probably 1,000 times. Once it gets stolen and then it gets stolen again, it propagates like a virus.
Sure.
And it's 2 and then 4 and then 12 and then 24 and it just goes and goes and goes
Sure.
all around the world. It goes.
And it's not some bullshit photo. It's not a picture of, docking at the whiskey. It's like a
It's
legit.
even worse. It's a local band.
Really?
Yeah.
No kidding.
So, yes, Gatlin.
I would love if a Gatlin photo got spread around that much.
So with that, talk a little bit about how you have to protect yourself, because that is such an interesting.
Well, since you like salacious stories, I should start off with the first experience I ever had with a photo thief.
Sure.
And this was 6 years ago, maybe 7 years ago.
All right.
I didn't even really put much thought into people stealing my stuff.
Sure.
Back then. And I went to my stats to my website, and I guess I should say when I first started my website in like 1999 or 2000,
right.
It was the most horrifically amateur piece of shit website you've ever seen. And when I first started photography, I took this picture of this crappy first camera I have,
right,
and like one lens, and I called it gear.jpg.
Okay.
Had it on my website for 4 months or so, and then I took it off, never used it again, but it stayed on my server.
Okay.
So 5 years later, I go into my web stats, and for the last month, I see that this gear.jpg photo had been accessed like 4,000 times.
Wow.
I'm like, it's not even on my website. What the hell is this? I start doing some searching, looking around, and I find it.
Right.
That it's being used on this Christian baby photographer's website.
Oh, nice.
This woman who does, births and baptisms and first communions
sure.
and baby photographs, and her website is all this Christian imagery and then the baby stuff that she photographs. In the middle of the website is my camera picture. I don't know why she put it in there. I don't even know how she found it, how it even got there.
Sure.
So I send her a very nonchalant email. Hey, you're hot linking my photo. It's going actually from my server. Why she didn't just download it and put it up on her own server? But she's hot linking it, so every time someone goes to her website, it sucks it from my server. So she's stealing my bandwidth.
Right.
Please take this photo down. Now, being the Christian baby photographer, you think she would be Christian-like.
Right.
She sends me back this pissy message, just, I'm not taking it down, whatever. Just some kind of pissy, fuck you kind of
stupid
message.
Cunt.
I emailed her back, and I said, you really aren't going to like what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask you one more time nicely, please take this picture down.
Right.
And she's in a suburb of Seattle. Oh, what are you going to do? Sue me from Cleveland over a little picture? Ha ha, I'm afraid of what you're going to do?
Yep.
I said, okay. So I went into Google and I searched diseased penis. and I found this picture of this rotting cock. It was one of the most horrific pictures I've ever seen. I downloaded it and I changed the name of it to gear.jpg. And then I uploaded it to my server, and it overwrote the old photo.
Nice.
So now, every time someone goes to the Christian baby photographer's website, in the middle of the page is this big rotting cock.
All right, what's the web address?
Oh, she's long gone. So now she thinks that I've hacked into her website because I've changed the content of the website. So now she's going to call the FBI and stuff.
Okay.
And, I gave her my address. Here, give the FBI my phone number, my address. Tell them I said you were a cunt.
Yeah.
And threatening messages for 2-3 days. She's going to have me arrested. She's going to sue me, all this stuff. And after like 5 days, now she's sending messages begging me to take the photo down. Because obviously everybody told her, fuck you.
Right, sure.
And it took her about 10 days to find someone to get the photo down.
So she couldn't even figure out on her own website.
I think she had somebody else do the website for her.
Right.
And if she would have said that to me in the beginning, hey, I had somebody else do this. I don't know how to take it down, but I'll get it down quick.
Yeah.
I would have said, fine.
Yeah.
She was just a bitch about it, so she
paid the piper.
I have screenshots of it. It's the greatest thing ever. For 10 days, like 10 times a day, I would just click that link just to amuse myself.
So good, dude.
But about 2 years ago, I just started finding a lot of my images that were stolen, and I really started looking into it, and I wasn't prepared for the sheer numbers of what I found.
Well,
I mean, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of images by, people who should know better.
Oh!
I don't even know what that is.
Is that one of yours, Joe?
Yeah.
Oh!
Pepperidge Farm stole that photo.
Oh my God!
Oh, come on, Eddie. What the fuck?
Jesus.
Talking about that shit right now.
I don't even know what that is.
I don't either.
I don't think you want to know, Joe.
Well, I'm just looking at it from far away on Jim's computer, and
be happy you're losing your sight, dude. Jesus Christ.
Oh.
The one I used was worse.
Oh.
No, I can it be worse than this?
It was.
That's
it was.
Throw him out of the chat room.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah, let me delete that photo from the chat. I can't have that in here.
Oh. Wow. We need Melanie again. Show the tits again.
Melanie. Okay, she's still
Melanie.
there? I gotta look. See if she's
All right. So 2 years ago,
I really started spending a lot of time looking into it. Found hundreds and hundreds of corporations and just started legally going after them.
Now,
found a couple places that will go after people in England and France and Germany and 50 different countries. So a lot of places I thought I could never go after, now I can go after.
Right. So is it how I mean I don't know the answer to this and I maybe you don't know the answer either, but how do they track that it's yours? I mean, is it data that's woven into the O's and ones or what?
Well, there is what's called EXIF data, which is like metadata that's embedded in the photo.
Okay.
But how does the company track that it's my photo? Mm-hmm. Dude, anybody can do a reverse image search.
Right.
Go into Google Images, and right in the text box, there's a little camera icon.
Okay.
If you click on that camera icon, you can upload any photo from your computer, and it will search Google's entire image library and tell you every place that it exists.
Oh, no shit. Wow. Now you have been the victim, and I hate to use the word victim because that just sounds fucking awful.
I need a safe space, but go ahead.
But you have been like you've had photos. Like I know I saw, like you have a pretty famous Springsteen picture that has been on T-shirts and bootlegs, and like thousands of people are making money off of your. Not only off of your photo, but they're using your photo as part of their money making.
Well, you can go on Amazon. I'm not sure if it's still up there. I tried to get it taken down a couple weeks ago, but you could buy a Rudolph Schenker couch pillow on Amazon with one of my scorpions.
With the one with him pointing.
Serious?
Yeah.
Oh, what?
A couch pillow. A little pillow for your couch.
Yeah.
Of Rudy Schenker.
Nice.
Wow. Now, so I know you've been doing. I don't want to say well, because I guess there's no doing well in legal. You're just fucking constantly suing. But, dude, it really has turned into a piece of the business for you, isn't it?
It's finally starting to, yeah. After a couple years now, I've went through some shitty attorneys and found good ones and have learned how the business works, and it's finally starting to become fairly lucrative.
But is that good or is that not good for where you stand? I mean, no one wants their work to be stolen, and yeah, it's cool if they're getting you fucking settlements and whatnot. But at the same time, it's frustrating knowing that so much, and I know this. People always hear this shit about photos, and they're like, oh, what difference does it make? It's out there on the web. It should be free. Blah 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 blah. People don't get the fucking, if you go to cover a show, the parking, the fucking getting there early, being in the pit, having to deal with the artists being temperamental.
Well, that shit doesn't even matter. I make my money off of photography.
Well, yeah.
So I charge other people for photography. Why does this asshole get to sell it and make money off of it for free? He's entitled to do that. Why?
Exactly. No, I agree with you. It's the
Maybe
same.
I should just go into his house and steal shit and sell it and see how he would like it.
Dude, I mean, in the IT world, as you can imagine, I get 100 calls a week from, hey, dude, my computer's doing bup. It's like, okay. $75 an hour.
Right.
Because you know what? How about you come over and wash my car and clean my gutters? How about you do that and I'll fix your fucking virus problem? Because that's what I do for a living.
You know how many band shows I get invited to? Hey, dude, come check out the band. Can you bring your camera if you come?
Yeah, and you know what? And I'm just going to give this message to bands all the way around, no matter what service it is. None of us give a flying fuck when you say, think of the exposure.
Well, it's not even that half the time. It's just, hey, come on down and see the band. We'll buy you a beer and take photos for an hour. And send us 80 of them after you spend 2 hours processing them and make a DVD for everybody in the band.
Yeah, for $10 worth of beer. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Dude, we used to get that when I was doing the metal show.
You know what happens a lot, too, is a band like, let's say a tribute band will hire me at House of Blues. Mm-hmm. And another tribute band will open up for them.
Sure.
And, well, hey, dude, since you're here, no.
Yeah, okay.
And then I can't believe you just sat backstage and didn't take any pictures of us.
Yeah, okay, well, here, let me reach into my bag and pull out a contract, and you can sign this.
So the band that pays me would be real happy to know that I'm doing your photos for free.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, when I was doing the metal show, I used to get invited to shows all the time and then people were always trying to find a way to get me to play their music on the metal show on MMS, and they were always like, "Well, dude, we'll put your name in the CD. Think of the exposure." And I'm like, "Think of the exposure. I'm already reaching 10 times the people that you are just by fucking talking. You know, I don't need your exposure. I don't need. Do I love getting my name in the credits of a CD? Sure. That is a real fucking two pump chump fucking moment for me. I give my dick 2 quick jerks and then I'm past it."
One thing I did think about asking you, since we're talking about this right now.
Yeah.
Since you do corporate stuff, and I've been doing more and
Sure.
more corporate gigs. Love corporate gigs.
Sure.
Go into some lawyer's office and take pictures of the people standing there and get paid $800.
Sure.
Half an hour. It's the greatest.
Absolutely.
But since you're always online talking your shit and
Yeah.
this woman's a cunt, I hope she dies in a wood chipper. And
Right.
has that ever caused any problems with your corporate clients?
Yeah. It has.
How do you handle it?
I don't care. I'll give a perfect example of one, and if I could think of his name, I really honestly can't think of his name, because if I will, I'll absolutely sell him out. What was that?
I remember
but
this
I've
story,
I've had a bunch of people say, "Oh, you shouldn't post inflammatory stuff."
Yeah,
because-"
fuck that. I'm not.
I don't really care either.
I'm not going to care. But I did a website for a guy. He was a referral from, and this is the only part that made me feel bad. He was a referral from Matt Wardlaw, who was my radio partner for years and is one of my very, very close friends.
Yep.
I mean, I love Matt. And this guy, he was doing, he put out a record. It was shit. He
Now, why does that have to do with anything?
Well, it didn't, because I still took the job. He needed a website built for his site. So, for whatever reason, this guy was not one that would do work on the phone. Like, he didn't want me to call him or text him for work, which is generally, in my world,
So you had to come over?
No, he wanted to use Facebook Messenger. So in order to use Facebook Messenger, I had to make him a friend on Facebook. Well, this guy was a hardcore
Christian.
Obama guy.
Oh, okay.
No, he's a hardcore Obama guy. And he posted something. Hey, there's your pillow. So this guy, you know, we're working together.
I'm going to sue that motherfucker.
We're working together, and I posted something, this was during the election run, about that I thought Obama was a jizzbag cunt. And I said it the way I always say. And this guy called me. He called me and goes, "What did you mean by your post?"
What's a jizz bag?
Yeah. Well, and I told him, I said, Obama is a fucking scumbag. And I don't give a fuck, you know, he's a piece of shit. And the guy's like, "Well, if you're going to say things like that, then I can't work with you." And I said, "Okay, well, you're not getting your deposit back." Done. And then, and he fired me on the spot. He said, "Well, then I can't work with you." Blah, blah, blah. And he was like, "Send me the files and I'll have somebody else finish it." I said, "Okay."
But
Sure.
you got the deposit.
No, I got to the deposit. I didn't get. Well, I did work. I mean, it's not like I didn't do any work.
Like, how much work did you do? Did you do work where you felt he still owed you money for the work you did?
No, because
outside of the
that's
deposit?
not how I work. I don't work on a time schedule.
But if
Because
someone sent you half the deposit and you did more than half the website, then I would say you owe me money.
I'm not. I don't care. You know, for me, and this is, and I don't want to sound like I'm trying to be some rich asshole or anything like that, but for me, I make enough money that I don't worry about one guy and one job. And, oh, well, I did 3/4 of the work. You only paid me half. I'm not going to. I don't care. It was worth it to me to get rid of this fucking fly. Yeah. You know, and that's what it was. So I gave him the work. Put it on a disc, and sent it to him. Well, of course, when you put a website on a disc, it ain't like you just put it somewhere and upload it and that's it. There's configuration and shit that has to go into that. Well, he couldn't find anybody to do it. And
There's 5 million web people out there.
he couldn't find anybody to do it. I agree with you, but he couldn't find anybody to do it. So after like a month goes by, he emails me again. And he goes, can we get past our issues and just get the site finished? And I wrote him a 1-word email back. Nope. Sent. So then I get a text from Matt. And Matt's like, dude, are you stonewalling this guy? And I was like, yep. And that was it.
Poor Matt.
But that was it. I was not going to cave in on any level. And that's honestly, dude, could I make more money not being an asshole? Yes, I could. But and I'm probably in the minority in this, and I'm going to say two things. First, I'm extremely lucky and fortunate to have the opportunities that I have. You know, I'm very, very thankful that I get as much work as I do with Aiken IT, and I can't even begin to say how happy I am that Pinball PA is doing as well as it has. And I know Pinball PA is cool. I know two of you have been there, and you both know.
Amazing.
I cannot, no matter how much I talk about it on the air, it does it no justice until you stand there and just see it.
I'll plug it for 5 seconds. I was there for the soft opening, or the VIP opening.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely worth every cent you would pay. We went there thinking, well, we'll be here for 2 hours. We'll take off. We're here to support Aiken. It was 7 hours later. We looked at the clock and went, oh, shit, we got to get home. You literally lose yourself that much. So anyway, continue.
Every time I see you using one of my photos that I took in a promo or a magazine
Sure.
or something, I'm just always happy because I love that.
They're great photos.
It's a great place.
It's of all the businesses for me to get involved in, a kid's place is probably not on the top of many people's list. But you know, again, my point is that I'm very, very fortunate that I've had these opportunities, and I'm humbled by it. But at the same time, I will not sell myself out to make them better. They're either going to make themselves better on the work that I do, or go fuck yourself. They'll fucking fold. But I don't, you know, I can't, you know, I've had a lot of people that have said things to me about my Facebook, especially, that are like, dude, you cannot be wishing people would die in a fire. And I'm like, yes, I can, because I've been in a fire. I can fucking say it. Here's the goddamn scars. I can fucking say it. And if people don't like it, fuck them.
So if I wish that someone falls in a wood chipper, I have to have fallen in there?
Yes, that's the rule, dude.
Dude, I still want to wish that.
I just tell him to go to hell and be done with it.
I just am not willing. My main point is I'm not willing to pretend that I'm something I'm not. You know what? I did that for 23 years. It was called my marriage, and it was a disaster. You know, in this house, I was one guy, and then when I would go out, I was a totally different fucking guy. And you know what? I hated myself for it. And I don't hate myself anymore. If I lose some business here or there or whatever, if I lose all my businesses, if that was to happen, then that's on me. And at least I do it on my terms. And you know what? People can take a lot of shit from you. They can take business from you. They can take money from you. They can take status from you. They can take all that shit from you, but they can't take your fucking integrity. And I'll never give up my integrity. You know, Ed, who is, you know, I do Pinball PA with, he has constantly
Loved my wife's tits.
Who doesn't? But
He's a dirty bastard.
I love your
Steeler
wife's
fan. Fuck.
I love your wife's tits too.
Ed is a dirty man, but he's always been cool to me. So anyway,
But you know, Ed has said to me many times about the show. Not like, because he knows I'm not going to change, but he's been like, dude, are you sure? Are you sure that that's not going to cause us a problem? This and that? And, you know, and now I'm working with bigger corporations now. You know, now we're involved with the Big Brothers and Big Sisters, and we're involved with some charities. And I have, you know, the Tribune, which is the big paper in Pittsburgh, they're like a Fortune 100 company, and they're a direct sponsor with me. But I haven't changed at all. And to be honest, the CEO of the Tribune is a friend of mine on Facebook. So she gets who I am. She knows what I'm about, but, you know, she understands that there's work and there's not work. It's a hard line. And it's, you know it, dude.
See, I don't even go to the extremes that you do. I mean, I'll post shit about hating the government and fuck the government and stuff, and that's about as far as I go.
Yeah.
And I've had a lot of people recently, dude, you got to stop doing that. You know, you're doing these corporate gigs now and all this stuff. And
so what?
It's like, well, you know, the corporate, they're not friends of mine anyways.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? If you lose that big fucking Bon Jovi fucking private party photo session because you said that Trump's a cunt, then okay, then you weren't meant to have it in the first place. I mean, what are you supposed to do? Lie? If you're building your business based on a lie, then why do you want to do it? Who in this room is comfortable with telling a lie to anything ever? No one.
See, I turned down business during the convention when it was in Cleveland.
Sure.
Because I didn't want to work for those cunts.
Yeah, and that's fine.
And they were good paying gigs. I had offered a couple of those.
But you put what?
I don't want to go spend my day with these fucking pieces of shit.
So you put your integrity
that I'm
above
gonna hate, and the whole time I'm there, I'm going to be wishing death scenarios on them. I don't even want to do that.
You put your integrity above it. You could have made the money. You could have probably
a lot, dude. People thought I had some business friends of mine that think I'm just the dumbest asshole. Dude, you turned down $1,000 for a gig? You're an idiot. You just, who cares? Do the gig. Take cash the check.
Fuck that.
And most of the time, I'll do that. A lot of times, if there's someone that I don't really care for, or a group I don't care for, I'll do it anyway. But that was one exception that I couldn't do it.
I'll never do it on any level. On any level, I won't do it.
I'll do it on some levels if it's easy enough, and I don't really. I'll do it for the cash sometimes, but there is a line.
Dude, if somebody, I wish Hillary Clinton would have an aneurysm and just drop dead.
I'd take pictures of that.
I fucking hate her.
I would love that. I would take pictures of that, and I wouldn't even charge them.
And I hate Barack Obama.
I'd take pictures of his aneurysm too.
But I'll tell you what, if somebody
I might even pay a little bit for those.
If somebody offered me $50,000 to interview one of them, I would turn it down in a heartbeat. Without even a thought.
See, wouldn't you want to just throw horrific questions at him, though?
No, because it would never air.
Yeah, but if you got a copy of it, it'd be worth it.
Yeah, I don't know. It would just be more hassle than it would be worth. It wouldn't be worth $50,000 to me because I would have to sell my. I would know that I went for nothing but dollars and sat in a room with these two fucking dick fucks, and that would make me hate myself. And a lot more than making the money would make me feel good. And I won't do it.
See, I learned
Ain't that why a lot of these bands do that shit? For the almighty butt?
They do.
I learned that lesson when I was a kid. One of the things my father taught me, didn't even know that he taught me. He died when I was 16.
Right.
But before that, I would see the adult men in my family, my father especially, hated his job.
Right.
Hated his fucking job.
Mm-hmm.
His job made him miserable on a daily basis.
Sure.
And he did it for 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember sitting there being 12 or 13. I don't know how I had the wherewithal to even think this, but I'm thinking, Jesus, when I grow up, I'm never going to have a job that I hate and spend 30 years doing it. I mean, I had some shit jobs in college,
sure,
cleaning toilets and stuff, but I made a vow to myself back then, man, I don't care what kind of money I make, I'm going to do a job that is fun because I'm not going to be miserable for my whole fucking life because of some stupid job.
Yeah, well, that's like for me personally, and we can all go around the room if we want to do this, but for me personally, I don't love my job. I'll be honest, I don't. Coding, sitting in front of a fucking computer, reading PHP question mark, call this if this equals that. That's not my fucking gig, man. I mean, can I do it? Yes. Am I good at it? Yes. Do I like doing it? No. But you know what I like doing? I like sitting at home and doing it while I'm watching TV. I like fucking sitting around, having things cranked all the way up, you know, my tunes, and just rocking the fuck out all day long. You know, I like the fact that I keep this computer here, and then I keep one out there by the living room, and then I have one in my bedroom on another table too, so that my commute ranges from 10 steps to 60 steps on any given day, depending on if it's warm in this room or not.
That's why I love working at home too. I love working at home.
I mean, dude, there are certain things I say this all the time to people. You don't work to love your job. You work to make your life something that you love. You know, work is just work. You know, and if you're fortunate enough, like I will say, I love doing the pinball PA stuff. The pinball PA, and not playing. I never play the games. I never go out there and play the games. But
how often you go up there lately?
Dude, I have not been up there since not this year at all.
Oh, really?
It's been It's probably maybe November was the last time I went
I'll
up there.
make a trip with you when we put my photos up there.
We can go. I mean, I have no problem going. It's just I love what I'm doing right now, the whole business aspect of it, the whole interacting on a different level, the whole teaching my son to be a fucking good at this kind of stuff.
He's up there pretty much.
Yeah, well, he lives there. He lives there.
Okay.
He lives there, so he's up there. But, you know, that's what I love doing. Truthfully, and you can look at my Facebook. Anybody that wants to look at my Facebook, when it asks me what my job is, I'm pretty sure it says author. Because it's the one thing I enjoy doing the most. I enjoy doing writing books the most. This second, CMS second, probably Pinball PA third, and Aiken IT a very distant fourth.
Right.
You know, but at the same time, I don't even know that I have a pair of jeans anymore. Yeah. I never have to leave the house. I never have to do the shit that you guys all have to fight through, or you have to fight through because you're retired and you're not doing it. But the shit where you have to commute and drive for an hour and deal with fucking cocksuckers in traffic, dude, I don't even know that world anymore. I don't relate to it. I don't understand. I don't understand that zone anymore.
I'm starting to have to dress up more and more for these corporate gigs, and that's the one thing that
would drive me crazy.
Seeing what I like about being not retired but semi-retired is I basically go in, pick up my stuff, and I drive. So I'm not there. I get the hell out of there and drive my run for 4 or 5 hours, come back, I'm gone.
Right.
So it's kind of like, I don't have to deal with people.
Right.
And do my thing and go. Pop in my CDs as I drive, and I'm happy.
Yeah, but see, and that's cool. If that's where your head is good, then that's cool.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's so frustrating. Like, and I'll swing this sort of back into what we were talking about with you with the lawsuits, Joe. I was in the middle of a lawsuit pretty much all of last year with Pinball PA. And it was something, and I'm not going to get into the whole thing because I really don't need the hassle, even though it's been settled. It had nothing to do with me. It had nothing to do with anything that I did. It had to do with somebody else. But because they were associated with me, I got sucked into it, and I'm getting subpoenas, and I'm dodging subpoenas, and I refused. I did a Joe Kleon. I absolutely would not sign for a subpoena. They kept coming. The thing was they kept sending the subpoenas to Pinball PA, and I was never there because I was here.
If they want it bad enough, they can hire a process server to come find your ass.
And that was it. And I knew what was going on, or at least I was aware of what was going on, and I didn't want anything to do with it. So, I understand the frustration of that. And it was the first time that I had been frustrated since I started Pinball PA, and that was in 2014. So, that's frustrating. And I have to think for you, I know you, Joe, love doing the photo piece of your business, but I have to assume that the legal stuff makes you crazy a little bit. Maybe not the legal itself, but the knowing that you just have to chase down cocksuckers that are stealing from you constantly.
And the fact that every single one of them makes me out to be the bad guy.
Right.
I'm the asshole because why do you care? It's just a photo. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I care.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you care? You took the photo. Even if it was you on your fucking cell phone, it's still yours. You took the time to take that photo at that moment.
Well, and the ones that really make me crazy are the people that are selling my photos.
Yeah.
Selling framed copies of my photos or selling T-shirts with my photos. And they can't understand why I'm pissed off.
Yeah.
Why do you care? Why do you care if someone makes a little money, dude? Come on, man.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I
Still,
know.
the best photo I remember is that one of Halford from, I think it was 2011.
Yeah, the Q show.
That's awesome. That's an awesome photo.
Yeah, it's,
Well, Steph and I have one of your photos up on our wall in our bedroom, man. Like it's a Slash and Miles photo that you took.
I remember that, yeah.
Yep, and dude, it's beautiful.
You got it hanging in the bedroom?
Yeah.
Is
dude,
it on the ceiling?
because
so you can see it when you're laying there?
our bedroom has like
Steph's got to see something she wants to fuck.
as soon as I mentioned it, I was like,
became much
boy, I
more
just
intense.
set myself
I
up.
could
God
see it in
damn
the living room.
No, man, like she made like the bedroom like a music kind of theme and stuff like that. So and one of her favorite pictures is the one that Aiken you had framed one
Yeah.
of Joe's pictures and,
Yeah.
and man, it's awesome and she loves it. It's about yay big and it's beautiful, man.
That was a great show at House of Blues.
Don't tell Joe I stole that picture.
Sorry, I didn't mean to say that.
Fuck both of you. I used Photoshop and took out his name.
I keep wanting that Halford one, but I can't. He's got that Joe Kleon right in the middle.
Yeah, damn it.
And I'm not going to sell it and steal it.
Use some of that semi-retirement funds there,
That's
buddy.
what it would be, is semi-retired.
Jim, he only charges $10. How
No, he
cheap are
wanted
you?
50. Because I looked into it.
Oh, $50. What is that? You spend more than that on beer and pot.
You know what? I'll
I
bet.
spent 40 on that fucking docking.
Okay, now wait a minute. Let me ask you a question.
Oh, dude, fuck you then, Jim.
All right, so now is it actually $50? Is that what it costs for that photo?
How much, Joe?
Depends on what size. Depends on who it is.
Halford.
Chris, I'd give it to for 20. Jim, it's 50.
Come on, and I've known Joan for how many years? Come on, Joe.
I will say, if you know Joe, you get hella deals, because that Roger Waters that I have in my living room, I was at the showing, and at the showing it was what, 400,
I sold one for, I think around there, yeah.
and I'm sorry, Joe, but I did not pay $400.
Well, now the one thing I gotta say, because as a pet fan, dude, I gotta say this about Joe. Like, you and I are friends, obviously. Like, we don't see each other very often, like usually on the show. But I give you so much credit because what you do, you donate to an animal shelter. Like, and you and I are animal shelter guys, and you did that one thing. Like, which one was it that you? All of it went to Kitten Crazy, the cat shelter that you work for.
Once a year I do that.
Yeah.
For 3 years I take about 20 or 25 of my best concert photos. I put them up on eBay, and all the money goes to the shelter.
Yeah, see, that's fucking amazing. Like, that's how you do it.
But you know what? That's how, and
That's just to get some karma back for all the nasty shit that
well,
we do.
exactly it, dude. For as long as I've been in business for myself, I've done that as well.
But the one thing I have a soft spot for charities.
Yeah.
Whenever there's a musician's charity in town somewhere, for a musician or a family member that has cancer or something like that,
Yeah.
dude, if I can't donate a $10 11x14 photo to that
Sure.
charity, what kind of a piece of shit
Well,
am
that's with the Pinball Palace. You know, every charity that asks me, I give passes. Every charity that asks, I mean, it's. I've told the guys there to just fucking fill them out and give them to them on the spot. Just boom, be done with it. You know, I don't need to know. I don't need a tax write off and all. I probably should get that, but I don't care. Just do it.
You should definitely. That's the one thing you should get.
I should.
Why? Because if you could pay a couple $100 less to the government, why wouldn't you bother?
You know, I just don't even think about it. You know, it's more hassle than it's probably worth. But even with Aiken IT, as long as I've been doing it, every year I always do one charity every year. And I've done a bunch of them for cancer, and I've done a bunch for autism, and I actually one of the biggest autism websites out there, I actually did the design of, and I was their web guy for like 4 years, and I never charged them a penny.
See, I do that once a year too.
You know, it's just good karma, and it pays for itself. You don't think that it'll pay for itself,
it does.
but it just does.
Yep.
Every year I'll take one family that however I come across them, that maybe has a sick parent where they've got tons of medical bills or whatever problems they have, and I will do the kids' graduation photos for free. Mm-hmm. Every single time that will result in 3 or 4 referrals.
Yeah, exactly. It pays for itself. It always does.
And that's not the why I do it, but
no,
it's certainly a great,
Yeah, and it never hurts. It never hurts. In my world, it certainly doesn't hurt me to say, well, here's a hospital that I did something for, or here's and I've done some bullshit charities too. I did one called Bald for Brains at one point, and it was for it was a charity for people that were having brain tumors and losing their hair, and it was something to get people to cut their hair for people that were going through brain tumors and shit. But I, it was one of those. I was asked to do it. I did it. I had time. It was lucky that I had time when they asked, and I took a week and gave them a week's worth of work. It does. It all pays yourself. It all pays for itself.
And I've been lucky enough to do fairly well at what I do.
Sure.
So I just think I'd be a dick if I didn't try and pay it forward a little bit.
Well, of course. And dude, and I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know you, but I don't know you like day to day. Everything you do, but you've risen to a level now, at least in this area, to where you'd be a total fucking asshole if you didn't help out on any kind of shit. I mean, you're the preeminent guy. You're the guy that gets the phone call. You get the Scene Magazine every phone call. You get the fucking Plain Dealer half the time. You get the national stuff. The big, like, the Rock Hall thing. You were obviously asked to shoot the Rock Hall thing. That's a big deal. I didn't get that call. I have a camera.
But see, then somebody new that comes along, I'm the asshole because I take all those big gigs.
Yeah, but you know what? So what?
No, I should give them to somebody who just started out just because they deserve a chance.
Fuck them.
They deserve a trophy for participating,
yeah,
dude.
Do your time. How many fucking...
No, I'll just get anonymous emails. You're a dick. Fuck you.
Dude,
you don't give anybody a chance.
Please,
and
fuck
dude,
them.
Remember Medina with a relative of yours?
Yeah.
Tell me I don't give people a chance.
Yeah, of course.
Right? I'm trying to help people.
Of course, that was totally cool. That was like...
And I try and do that. If I can do that once a year at that Medina show, I'll bring a kid photographer or somebody like that, because that show I can do it.
But you know what? For those other people that are bitching and moaning about you know what? How many goddamn local shows with 4 people at them did you shoot? For nothing.
Well, and how much shit have those people done for anybody?
Yeah.
I guarantee nothing.
Yeah, and that's it. I mean, how many pictures do you have out there that are fucking iconic that you really didn't make what you deserved for? I'll throw the Lizzie Borden one out there as one, and I don't know what you made off the Lizzie Borden. I'm just throwing that out there because I've seen that picture in a shit ton of places, the one with the TV and stuff.
Oh, that's a great picture.
And that's you. You took that, right? Mm-hmm. And that photo has been seen easily by millions of people. And I guarantee you that you didn't get $1 per view. Or a penny per view.
I didn't get Spotify rates per
That's
view.
what I'm saying. You didn't get nearly. And that's a very iconic photo, and not just for Cleveland. Anybody that's a Lizzie Borden fan has seen that photo. So you've eaten a lot of shit before you got to fucking the actual dinner table. Mm-hmm. So why should you give the next guy? You had to eat shit for years.
I don't mind giving stuff away or doing gigs for free now and then, but they're on my fucking terms.
Of course.
They're not on anybody else's fucking terms. Just because you think you deserve it or you're entitled.
You've earned the right.
Fuck you. I'll do it if I want. I'll do it for someone that has money just because I want to do it.
That was a Peabody shot, too, wasn't it?
It was.
I remember that.
Nobody, that is such a good point, especially in the photography world. I see so many people at these shows these days, and they show up. Joe shows up with, what's your camera worth roughly? 3.5.
Any typical show I go to, I've got 5 in my bag.
Yeah. So, and I see people showing up with a fucking iPad in the same pit.
I see people in the pit with a fucking iPhone.
That's what I'm saying. And these people want to be treated as an equal to you. They don't have the investment, they don't have the time, and they don't have the fucking record. You know, the bottom line, you know how... Look, for anybody that's a photographer that wants Joe's gigs, I'm going to tell you in 2 seconds how to take every gig from Joe and make him homeless. Ready? Here it goes. Take better pictures than he does. Simple as that. If you take better shots than his, you'll get the gigs. And if you do it consistently enough, he won't get the calls. That's all you got to do.
Is that the same with any occupation?
Well,
Pretty much.
mostly, yeah.
Yeah.
But yours is one of those where people can have a direct show by show. You give every photographer that's in that fucking pit the opportunity to take your next gig from you. Every single show. You go to a Red Hot Chili Peppers show and you knock down fucking pictures and you send them to Scene Magazine, and the next guy sends his pictures to Scene Magazine. They're going to pick who they're going to call next when Soundgarden comes to town. And they're going to base it off of what they just saw, most recent history. All they got to do is beat you.
Yeah.
That's it. You know, to me, it's anybody that's complaining about that is just a fucking fool.
Well, and one good piece of advice someone gave me a long time ago, and that goes with musicians too, is that you're only as good as your last gig.
Of course.
Perfect example.
Yeah, and you know, another thing that I'm sure you see, because I see it just as a schlub that goes to shows and sees what's going on, is be a fucking pro. Show up dressed for the gig. Show up fucking on time. Don't be fucking around with your gear and then fucking causing problems in the pit. Show up, get your shit set up, and take your fucking pictures. I can't tell you how many times I have watched photographers in the pit. And I mean, I've had photo passes as well, and I've been in that pit, and that's a fucking rough. People don't realize that first three song thing, that is fucking really hard, because one, the band, for better or for worse, it's before the band settles down, so the bands all jump into the pit they jump into the show faster than the rest of the show, where you could really isolate in and take a good shot. You got to take some quick shots on the fly. They're unpredictable because they're doing that. You know, metal bands are thrashing their asses off in the first three songs. Not as much in song 13. You know, song 13, they're tired. They're standing around. So you got to be on the go. But you get into that pit, and let's say there's 8 photographers in the pit, which I know that's more local show than like the Q, I would imagine. But
that's a lot. I mean, there's been some shows with that, but
sure,
anything 5 or 6 or over is usually a lot for a show.
Right, okay.
Because a lot of the bands and the publicists, they become more selective.
Right, sure.
Every asshole with an iPhone is trying to get in to these shows.
Right, good.
Let me ask you this. With that, I saw a lot of that stuff about the first 3 songs. Is that for all the photographers, or do they... Okay, you
Most
guys
of the
got the first 3, and you guys got the next 3.
For media, it's all 3.
Oh, okay.
It's just 3. Or it could be 2. Some bands only have 1.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
like the Garth Brooks people didn't understand why I wouldn't go shoot that show. It was the first 30 seconds of the first 3 songs. So they have some poor asshole there with a stopwatch.
Right.
That has to stop it after 30 seconds and get everybody out of the pit till the next song and let them in. Like, I'm not driving down there for 30 fucking seconds.
Oh, no,
Right.
that's
crazy?
insane.
Oh, well, why do you care? Because
I've
care.
always seen that and wondered, well, does that mean if you got 10 photographers in there, they'll get 3 songs and then they got to fucking go?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And rarely, I mean, I'll use a connection once in a while or a friendship to get a ticket if I really want to stay.
Yeah.
But people think, dude, you get tickets for all these shows. I never get a free ticket to a show. When the 3 songs are over, we're escorted to the door. Thanks for the pictures. Have a good night. They're not giving me a ticket and saying, "Here, dude, we'll watch your camera. You can go in and watch the show. Thank you." No, dude,
Yeah.
take
Dude,
get the fuck out of here.
I would
Really?
I don't
You
know.
don't
I
even
wouldn't,
get to-
I wouldn't want to drive down there for fucking. You got to pay to park and all that other shit too.
Yeah. I mean, I have a place where I park for free downtown, but yeah,
No.
there's
but I mean, even Joe Blow, photographer that that goes down there.
Now,
But it is-
$20 a park.
Blossom will put us in the media lot, which is the closest lot to the stage.
Oh, well, that's cool.
And there's some venues where, if I want tickets for shows, I know people and I
Yeah,
can get
yeah.
tickets. But traditionally, just because you're on a media list for shooting a show, it doesn't mean you get a ticket.
Yeah, it's crazy.
They walk you to the pit, you shoot your songs, they walk you to the door.
Nah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, they treat you guys really shitty.
See, I used to hate it, but now it doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah, but you know why?
Because
Because you've transitioned from
I
being
can-
a fan to being a fucking
I
businessman.
can get what I want in 3 songs, and most of the bands I don't want to see anyway. I mean,
Well,
I'm
yeah.
not going to sit there and watch Taylor Swift.
No.
But I love photographing her because I know those photos are in high demand.
Sure.
But I can get what I want in 3 songs. I can get the hell out. I can beat the traffic home. And what a lot of people don't understand is when I get home, even for those 3 songs, it's going to take me 3 hours to go through those photos, process a set of 30 to send off to the magazine.
Shit,
so
by the
I'm,
time-
I'm up till 2 in the morning every night.
I was
that
going to
do a
say, by
show.
the time the show's probably over, you're halfway or 3/4 of the way through that.
If I stayed and watched the whole show, I wouldn't get done with photos till 4 or 5 in the morning.
Right.
So
How fast do you have? How fast do you have to turn those around?
They need them for the next day.
I have to have them by the opening of business the next day.
No kidding. Okay.
Well, dude, because even Scene with Scene magazine, and you've seen this, the next day they have their writer that submits a review, and they always have a photo thing. Well, those are Joe's photos from the
Wow.
night before. So
Every place is like that.
Yeah,
I
so-
mean, dude, in today's instantaneous web world, nobody wants to wait for shit.
Yeah.
I've seen like a lot of times with the plain dealer and stuff, I have to send a photo before I leave Blossom. I can't even drive
Really?
home and work on it first. Oh no!
Jesus Christ.
I had to get a special app for my phone where I can Wi-Fi photos from my camera to my phone. So there's a lot of places like that. So I
Wow.
can send it off because, dude, the show starts at 8. We need 3 songs. We better have a photo by 8:30. Well, the
Yeah.
3 songs are take till 8:20. Okay, you got 10 minutes. Get us a photo. So I don't have time, and it hurts the quality of the photos because I don't have time to process. I'm sending them a raw, unprocessed
right,
photo,
sure.
and I do a lot of work on my photos. It's no different than a guitarist spending time in the studio EQing his shit,
Right, sure.
But yeah, a lot of times we want it now, and I'll see people at the queue from some of these big publications. They'll run out after 1 or 2 songs just so they can get a photo out.
So I'm going to assume the plain dealer doesn't send anybody down there anymore like they used to, 30, 40
They send
years.
Joe.
The Plain Dealer, yeah, they send reviewers, and they have other photographers they send too. Plain Dealer is one of the places that does send people to pretty much every show. The thing I don't understand is, like, for Blossom shows, the Akron Beacon Journal doesn't send anybody to Blossom shows.
Well, that's not a
Are you serious?
huge paper, though, is it?
Yeah, it's a huge paper.
Well, I mean,
Akron
But
Beacon?
I mean,
Compared
Blossom
to
is
the
right in their
Plain Dealer,
neighborhood,
I would
man.
say their circulation's probably as big as the Plain Dealer.
Really?
Yeah.
Hell yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
And
Akron
they-
Beacon's big, man.
Yeah.
In 10 years of shooting Blossom shows longer, I've never once seen a Beacon Journal person there.
Wow.
And they want a folder like that.
Yeah. Dude, it's Joe, Joe and I talk on Facebook a lot at night because Joe's usually working on his photos and whatnot, and that's usually when I'm working as well. So we
Quit bugging him in the middle of the night when he's trying to fucking work.
Yeah, you're the one holding him up, you fuck.
it's all my
Goddamn
fault.
Aiken.
That's
It's all
work,
my
Aiken, you
fault.
dick.
But
Get
no,
my shit done
but-
way earlier if it wasn't for
yeah,
him, man.
exactly. But no, I mean that's the whole thing.
Great photo
It
in
is
the chat.
it is such an immediate. It's an immediate business, and it's one of those things that you got to be good on the jump because you don't have time to
Edit
edit and real. I mean, you do. I'm sure you do some color editing and some brightness and some light scheme type shit. But it isn't like you have time to really granularly dig into to really dig.
Well, I
them
think
out.
that's a good question. Like, how much work do you do on those photos? Because, like Chris, I think what you're getting at is either it's a good picture or it's not.
Yeah.
So how much when you have to send it? Like, let's
That's
say
not
you take a
necessarily
picture and an
always
hour
true.
later you have to send it. Like how much work do you have to do on it, or do you just send it raw and go?
Well, if they
you
need
can
it-
either take a good picture or you can't.
If they need it before I leave the venue, then I have no choice but to send it raw. So I have to find the best one. And again, looking on the little 3-inch screen on your camera, it's hard to tell how good of a photo is compared
Right.
to looking at a laptop screen or a big monitor like you got over there.
right.
But I do a lot of work on some pictures, and some people, accuse me of being kind of disingenuous and say that I cheat because I'll do so much work on a photo. But if it makes the photo 10 times better, I don't give a fuck.
Okay, what kind of
10 times better?
What kind of work is that? So what saying that you do tons of work on a
Filters
photo, what work is it that you would do on it?
I mean, sometimes there's light reflections on people's teeth where you see a bright spot on someone's tooth. I'll go in pixel by pixel and remove that. Or maybe there's a lighting truss that's really jarring in the picture and there's no lights on it that's not contributing anything to the picture.
Pull it
Pixel
out.
by pixel.
I'll take that fucking thing out of there.
Wow.
Or maybe there's a great picture of a singer in a great pose, and in the corner there's the bass player, and he's kind of blurry, and he's off to the side. Nobody gives a fuck about him in the picture.
Right.
He's gone.
He's out.
I mean, it's people say, "Oh, you're changing the way you're disingenuous." Maybe I am, but it makes for a better picture. Is Jimmy Page disingenuous for working on a guitar track for a whole day and doing all kinds of effects
Right.
and Pro Tools work and all that stuff? Does that make him disingenuous?
Love it, man.
He's just taking a piece of work and making it as good as he possibly can, and that's what I'm doing.
All right, question from the chat room, Joe. Would you rather take a better photo or have a good photo that you could make great in Photoshop?
I would much rather take a better photo because it involves less time.
Okay.
Good point.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's definitely. I don't think people realize photography what it is. I
Well,
think
it's art.
but
It really is an art form.
But I don't think people realize how the photos itself are what, a quarter of the product?
Pretty much.
It's a quarter of the product, and the rest of it is, as dumb as this is going to sound, it's almost like a sport to know the positioning and where to get on the stage and knowing believe it or not, there, and I know this, and I don't know a whole lot about photography, but I know that there are sweet spots on the stage, depending on who the musician is.
Oh yeah, and a lot of times, I mean, there's prep work that I do.
Sure.
Like if I'm going to shoot a Taylor Swift show, I'll go into setlist.fm. You know what that is, right?
Yeah, sure.
And I'll look and see what the first 3 songs are on the tour.
Right.
And then I'll go into YouTube and I'll search for those 3 songs and I'll put a tag on it so they only show videos from the last month.
Okay.
So then and they're shitty fan phone videos.
Yeah.
But I can see what's going on the stage.
And you can see where she is.
I can't tell you how many times I've got shots that I wouldn't have got because at the beginning of the second song, the 3 guitarists and bass player all jump off the drum riser at the same time.
Right.
Now I'm ready for that shot. Before, I would have missed that shot.
Right, sure.
So there's all kinds of prep work that you can do too, as far as getting stuff and just knowing the angles that are good and how to get lights in the right way.
Right.
It's more than just standing there and pushing a button.
Right.
It's a lot more than that.
Go ahead, Jim.
Maybe I'm being dumb or something, but I
Probably.
I really don't know. Why is it only, like you said, most of the big shows? Why is it only the first 3?
There's a lot of speculation about that, and it started being that way long before I started shooting in the late '80s. In the '90s is when that came up, but people say that it's because later on in the show the band members are sweaty, and a couple of big bands decided they didn't want sweaty pictures like that, and it just became the norm. Or the band got tired of seeing photographers in the pit through the whole show. Who knows?
And that
I actually read an article about it, and one of the things I read was that, like Aiken, you and I talk about stage juice, where you're like fucking amped up. The bands are more active in the first 2 to 3 songs because they're fresh and they're ready to jump around. So you get a little bit more action out of the first. That's what I read.
I think most bands don't even know what their own rules are. It's a publicist that puts it together.
Probably.
And the bands don't even know.
Well, just remember the next time you shoot Gatlin, you only got 3 songs.
you probably have 3 hours.
And there's very few bands that take into consideration when the photographers are going to shoot.
Sure.
Roger Waters was one of them, where you could shoot 2, 3, 6, and whatever, because those were the songs that he wanted to present visuals of. Britney Spears did 4, 5, 6, and 7 because during each one of those songs, she had an outfit change. So
Right.
it gave you the widest variety of pictures.
Right.
But that's such a rarity. Most people don't care, don't even know.
Right.
And see, that's shit I would never even
Dude,
think
there-
of.
I've been hired by bands where I've seen them before the show, and the publicist said it's only 3 songs. Fuck him! You're shooting the whole show. Like, they don't even know.
Right.
They don't even know.
I think, and I don't know this. I don't, I'm guessing like everybody else, but I think a big part of it too is that a lot of times when there's photographers in the pit, the band's mug to the camera.
I was just about to ask that question of Joe.
It seems like Gene Simmons, all the pictures I've seen of that fucker, he loves the fucking
Kiss are great
camera.
at doing that, and you know what? Your entire life, how many great Kiss pictures have you seen?
But are they three songs?
Oh yeah,
too? Are
oh,
they?
Oh, yeah.
oh yeah. But how many great pictures have you seen of
Not
them?
a
Because
ton.
they always mug for the photographers.
Yeah.
Every picture I've seen of them is fantastic.
Yeah.
See, that's what I wanted to ask you because, like, again, like I know my perspective is a little jaded. I'm just a local musician, but one of the things that I mean, like, as just a local musician, like people would take pictures and stuff, and after a few years, like I would see pictures of me like blurry with the face and like throwing stuff around, and like even when I was like 170 pounds, it looked like I was like 240, like I am now, but
How much?
you kind of. Well, now I'm 228 pounds. I'm not 240. Anyway, it's a whole workout question. Anyway, so one of the things that I learned to do, like when you see a camera, you kind of like you freeze in a pose, or you like stop for a second and you just kind of like give a look. Like, do the national bands do that? Like, if they see the camera, will they actually kind of like give you a shot, or
Sometimes.
Or will they do this? Give you the fucking finger.
Sometimes
Some
they'll
do.
do that. I've seen them, and you've seen videos. They'll kick people sometimes if they think you're too close.
Oh, yeah.
I saw
Really?
one show at House of Blues, one of the newer emo-ish type of metal bands. I don't even remember who they were. I'd have to go look it up.
Avenged Sevenfold because they suck?
Or Day to Remember, or Rise Against, or one of those.
Sorry,
one
I
of those
just
bands.
hate
whatever.
Avenged Sevenfold. Yeah.
During the second song, this dude that I'd never seen before whips out a selfie stick. And he puts this tiny little camera that's about as big as a pack of cigarettes, like an Ashton Kutcher purse camera, on his selfie stick. So the singer is up there doing his thing, jamming away, and all of a sudden this camera comes up, like 6 inches from his face, and then flash, flash, flash. It just starts flashing in the dude's face. He grabbed that fucking thing like a golf club and just smashed it all over the stage. And security threw the dude out. It was one of the best. There's a Facebook page that photographers contribute to. It's called Assholes in the Pit, and it's
Really?
just about stupid things that asshole photographers do in the
Is
pit.
it assholesinthepit.com? Because everyone
No,
needs
it's
to look that up.
page. It's a Facebook page.
Oh, look that one up.